The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 12. Feng Yi. Feng Yi. Liao Feng Yi has been poisoned by an old beggar's life curse and has lost consciousness. However, he vaguely feels a familiar voice calling out to him. I have told you countless times that your impulsive nature will lead to trouble sooner or later. The voice gets closer, and Liao Feng Yi forces his eyes open, only to see his long-lost master appearing in front of him. Master. Master, where have you been for over a year? Master has been frequently going out for the past 2 years, and after leaving a year ago, he never returned. You are a person of integrity and kindness, which is why I passed on all my skills to you. Liao Feng Yi lost both his parents at a young age and lived like a wild child in the mountains. 10 years ago, he saved a dying old man with a white beard in the mountains and took care of him until he recovered. I thought you could make a name for yourself in the martial world, but your reckless actions have truly disappointed me. Little did he know, the old man was an extraordinary expert named Lai Buyi. From that day on, Liao Feng Yi became his disciple and followed his master for 10 years to learn martial arts. Master, I was wrong. Master, where are you? I have been searching for you. A year ago, Master left him with 3 tasks and disappeared. Since then, the master and disciple have never met again. Feng Yi, remember what your teacher taught you. Take care of yourself in the future. Learn from your mistakes and don't recklessly rely on your bravery. Lai Buyi was renowned in the world of martial arts, but people believed that he had ascended to immortality 100 years ago. Master, where are you going? After leaving the mountain, Liao Feng Yi had just completed one of the tasks assigned by his master, but the whereabouts of his master Lai Buyi remained a mystery. Hey, wake up. Putting aside Liao Feng Yi's dream, in reality, his collapse was causing great distress to everyone. No, we need to find a physician to examine him. Our village is remote and doesn't have a decent physician. The desperate Liao Dao watched as Liao Feng Yi's body turned blue and purple. However, in this rural village, there was no reputable physician to be found, and who could cure this deadly poison. We'll have to go to town to find a physician, but it's a 2-day journey. The closest town to the village is also a 2-day journey away. By the time they return, Liao Feng Yi may already have lost his life. Just when everyone was at a loss, a villager noticed a tattered cloth bundle left behind by the old beggar. This is the medicine bag of the renowned doctor from the Chedo Gu village. That's right. Dr. Xui in the village must be able to save this hero. The villager suddenly exclaimed when he saw the cloth bundle. On it was written the character Che, and the villager remembered that there was a place called Chedo Gu near the village, where a doctor named Xui resided. Perhaps he could cure Liao Feng Yi. Dr. Xui is highly skilled, but he has a peculiar personality. The villagers said that Dr. Xui used to be an imperial physician, so his medical skills were unquestionable. However, for some unknown reason, he quit his job and secluded himself in the Chedo Gu area. His temperament was also quite eccentric. Liao Dao glanced at Liao Feng Yi, who was struggling to breathe, and clenched his teeth. There was no other option at this moment. Liao Dao obtained detailed directions to the doctor's residence from the villagers, and disregarding the late hour, set off towards the depths of the mountains. The night was cool and silent in the deep mountains. Apart from the occasional chirping of insects, there was no sign of human presence. Liao Dao borrowed a wooden cart from the villagers and anxiously pulled it along the mountain road. Damn, I'm exhausted. Liao Dao was not the type of person who would bother to pick up a fallen oil bottle, which was why he ended up in his current state. But now, for the sake of this young man he had only known for a few days, he went through all this trouble, mumbling to himself. Just as Liao Dao was babbling to relieve his frustration, he suddenly noticed a peculiar thing staring at him from the forest. Liao Dao was accustomed to traveling at night, and his eyes were still useful in the darkness. At first, when he saw a monkey poking its head out of the grass, he thought it was strange but didn't dwell on it. However, when the monkey emerged fully, Liao Dao was frightened. He never expected the monkey to have the body of a deer attached to its head. Liao Dao stood there dumbfounded for a while before finally realizing the situation. The creature turned around and hopped deeper into the woods. This old Taoist is not young anymore and has seen a lot, but he has never encountered such a bizarre thing. It has shocked him and his mind is spinning for a while. Huh. Am I seeing a ghost? Fortunately, that thing didn't harm anyone. After being stunned for a while, the old Taoist decided not to bother and pulled Liao Feng to continue walking along the mountain road. Just as he turned a corner, he saw a house ahead with lights on. The house was built with stones and surrounded by a wooden fence. It should be the residence of that divine doctor. Dr. Xu, are you home? Dr. Xu. Dr. Xu, I hope you haven't rested yet. The old Taoist knew it was inappropriate to disturb someone at this hour, but Liao Feng's life was at stake. After knocking on the door for a while with no response, the old Taoist mustered up his courage and gently pushed open the door. Dr. Xu, I have come to seek medical help. Are you here? Divine doctor. The old Taoist peeked inside the house for a while, but didn't see anyone. He couldn't help but wonder whether Dr. Xu wasn't at home or if he was deaf. Doctor, I have come in. Desperate to save Liao Feng, the old Taoist couldn't afford to waste time on formalities. Seeing another room inside with faint sounds coming from it, he headed towards that inner room. But as soon as he entered the room, the old Taoist was dumbfounded. The room was filled with bottles and jars, containing who knows what. Several stone platforms were covered with the innards and limbs of unknown animals. Doctor, are you there? The room was pervaded with a strong smell of blood and a strange herbal scent. Coupled with the dim lighting, the atmosphere weighed heavily on the old Taoist's pounding heart. Dr. Xu, are you there? I have come to seek medical help. After making it to the doorway of the inner room with great difficulty, the old Taoist cautiously lifted the curtain. But before he could touch the fabric, it was suddenly yanked open by someone inside. Then, a person over 2 heads taller than the old Taoist, holding a gleaming dagger, stood before him covered in blood. The old Taoist was so scared that his heart almost jumped out of his mouth. Who are you? You are Dr. Xu, right? I have come for medical help. The person's voice was cold, and it took the old Taoist some time to react. This person should be the Dr. Xu that the villagers mentioned. So he quickly put on a smiling face. I am not in the mood to treat patients today. You better leave. The old Taoist hadn't even said a few words when he was coldly interrupted by the person, who didn't hesitate to show him the door. Doctor, please don't be like this. Please help us. Look, I have 50 taels of silver here tilled. The old Taoist had no choice but to resort to a monetary strategy. He gritted his teeth and took out 50 taels of silver from his pocket. I already told you, I am not in the mood to treat patients today. Get lost. Unexpectedly, the attitude of the divine doctor remained icy. Not only did he ignore the old Taoist's flattery, but he also insulted him. Doctor, you are renowned for your medical skills, compassion, and benevolence. How can you ignore someone's plea for help and let them die? Under normal circumstances, the old Taoist would have left if he encountered such an unkind person. But since he needed help, he had to endure. So he scraped together all the flattering words he could think of and approached with a smiling face. Doctor, please show mercy and save this young man. The old Taoist's numerous praises seemed to have fallen on deaf ears, as the divine doctor remained cold-faced and left the house. But as soon as he stepped outside, he saw Liao Feng lying on a cart. Doctor, he is a hero. He got injured while saving the villagers. The divine doctor's footsteps came to a halt, and after standing there for a while, he approached the cart and carefully examined the unconscious Liao Feng. You have a compassionate heart as a doctor. Please save him. Seeing the divine doctor looking at Liao Feng in a daze and noticing his pale and purplish skin, the old Taoist put on a smiling face and approached the doctor. "I can save this person." "That's great. You have a compassionate heart." However, just as the old Taoist was starting to feel happy about the sudden turn of events, the divine doctor stated that he could save him, but had one condition that the old Taoist had to fulfill. "You need to go up the mountain and gather a certain herb for me." "But I don't know anything about herbs. The herb I need can only be found at..." "This herb emits a faint light at night. Only at night can it be found. It looks like a skull as it grows. Furthermore, it's pitch black, making it difficult to see. Venturing into the mountains at night is really dangerous." But the divine doctor didn't give the old Taoist a chance to argue. "All right, hurry up and go." The old Taoist was pushed out of the courtyard by the divine doctor, and then the doctor bent down and carried the unconscious Liao Feng into the house. The old Taoist couldn't help but feel restless as he watched the divine doctor's figure. But there was nothing he could do. Liao Feng's life was hanging by a thread, so he had no choice but to trust. Putting aside the divine doctor for now, let's focus on the old Taoist who ventured into the mountains alone. "Damn it. Am I just a random person sent by you?" Forced by the divine doctor, the old Taoist had no choice but to enter the deep mountains. As the night breeze blew, he was originally drenched in sweat from pulling Liao Feng, but now he felt icy cold all over and couldn't stop shivering. Oh, just as he was complaining, he suddenly froze. Unexpectedly, the old Taoist's luck wasn't bad. "Isn't this the luminous bone grass the divine doctor mentioned?" Shortly after entering the mountain, he spotted a strange plant emitting a faint blue glow. It's true that there are all sorts of strange things in this world. The old Taoist hurriedly approached for a closer look. The appearance of the flower matched the description of the luminous bone grass the divine doctor asked him to find. Not only did it emit a faint blue glow, but the center of the flower resembled a skull. Just as the old Taoist was feeling delighted, he suddenly heard a rustling sound behind him. From the bushes, a creature with the head of a rabbit and the body of a cat emerged. This thing, I don't know how it came to be, and it's not afraid of humans. Without even sparing a glance at the old Taoist, it leisurely entered another patch of grass. The old Taoist couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. As soon as he entered the ravine, he saw two creatures with strange heads. Could this place be infested with monsters? Before he could recover from the shock, he noticed another strange figure staring at him. But when the old Taoist finally saw what that thing looked like, his mind completely went blank. It was a creature about half a meter tall, standing on top of a large rock. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a deer with blood-red eyes. But upon further observation, the old Taoist's eyes almost popped out. Under the deer's red-eyed head was the body of a monkey, and there was even a little monkey lying on its back. The connection between the deer's head and the monkey's body was clearly sewn together by someone. The old Taoist was completely dumbfounded, his mind blank. The series of changes since he entered the ravine had exceeded his understanding. There are monsters. What on earth is happening? Could it be that there's a great chaos in the world and monsters are emerging? Leaving the bewildered old Taoist in the depths of the mountains, let's return to the divine doctor's house. The doctor has already placed Liao Feng on a wooden platform in the house. In his hand, he held a sharp knife gleaming with a cold light, preparing to make a cut towards Liao Feng.